Good day there once again, viewers. Your mate Kamikaze78 here, coming to you guys with some more World of Warships content. Now, today my friends, we're going to be doing a post-gameplay commentary on a game that I had in the United States Tier 10 Cruiser that is currently in testing, available to community contributors and super testers, that being the Salem Class Cruiser. And boy oh boy guys, this was one hell of a game. We are playing domination on the map Hotspot, starting on the seaside, and yeah, you'll see what I mean. This was just an absolutely filthy game that really does go to show how powerful a cruiser can be when played correctly and when not overextending unnecessarily. So guys, just before we get into the battle of this video, I will say that in this video, the stats and the gameplay that you're seeing of the Salem might not be representative of what the final product will be when it is released to the general public. This is a ship that is still in testing and stats are subject to change, so do keep that in mind while watching this video, guys. I'll also say that unfortunately the camera might seem a little bit janky with this video simply because I was recording it off of the replays functionality because I forgot to hit record when I was actually playing the game live. So yeah, as a result, things might seem a little bit janky on camera, and I do apologize for that, but hey, the gameplay is still there and you guys will still be able to enjoy it to a certain extent. Anyway, let's talk about this ship. Let's talk about what she brings to the table at the end of the day. The Salem brings forth a profile and a playstyle that is very similar. In fact, I would even say identical to the Des Moines. If you've played a Des Moines, if you've gone against the Des Moines, it's pretty much the exact same thing, with the key feature here being the auto-loading 203mm cannons. This ship features the 3 turrets with 3 guns per turret, with 203mm shells firing at 15.8 kilometers of range, with a reload time of 5.5 seconds. That's a lot of firepower really quickly. Her AA armament is also a highlight here, ranged at 5 kilometers across the board, and just spits out a stupid amount of DPS, which really is characteristic of all of the United States cruisers. Maneuverability wise, she's also fantastic, and concealment wise, she features 13.86 kilometer concealment when it comes to sea detection and 9.87 kilometers by air. So she's not the stealthiest of ships, but that can be rectified with some captain skills and some upgrades. Those upgrades and captain skills are listed on the left hand side of your screen currently as well. So, as you can see in this battle, we're pushing forward onto the sea point here. We're going to do a little bit of recon here as a cruiser. What we have to keep in mind is that as a Tier 10 United States cruiser, we have access to radar. We knew we were being spotted out, and as a result, we've managed to detect this Akazuki here, who is currently on the move. He has no interest of staying around here. He knows it's overextended, and thus we are now going to put those 203mm autoloaders to good use and completely wreck this guy. He's got nowhere to go. His engines have been taken out, and he has missed entirely with his torps. So as a result, we're going to have a really easy time taking this guy out, almost getting a devastating strike on him there with that salvo, putting him on fire and making the killing blow here really quickly, sending him straight out of the game. For some reason, I didn't seem to get the first blood award of the day, considering that was the first kill of the match, but hey, what can you do? We also managed to kill him just in time before the radar went out, and I accidentally activated my defensive fire out of pure habit. I'm normally used to the repair party being on the T key because, you know, I play battleships, but yeah, never mind. There's no carriers in this game, so it's not going to be of much use to me anyway. So we've noticed this Otago is currently in a bit of an odd position. He's tried to get out of here because he knows that we've got radar, or we did have radar up, and he was feeling a little bit spooked, I think, as a result of that, knowing that we've got 2 ships on this point now. But he's beached himself, but unfortunately lost detection because we actually cut our line of sight from him with this island. But I'm doing that on purpose because, as you can see, we've got 2 battleships eyeing us down on the other side of the island here. And the last thing I want to do is provide too much of a shot for those battleships to get wrecked as a result. So we're going to back up ever so slowly here, try and get an angle on this Otago. Going to switch out to the AP rounds really shortly as he broadsides out for us here, getting some fire damage on board as well, just to sort of really get him hurting and make sure he can't escape for the long term. There's one citadeling hit. The United States AP at close range is just absolutely brutal against these sorts of ships, especially when they're broadsiding. Unfortunately, the Kurfürst does manage to get a few shots on this, but he was firing HE for some reason, so we got really lucky there. And as a result, I'm going to be booking it out of here, essentially, trying to get clear of this Kurfürst, try and break line of sight from him, make sure that we're not going to take too much unnecessary damage. And of course, that leads us on to our next point of interest, that being this good old-fashioned North Carolina over here. Once again, pointing myself in such a way that basically gives me as much cover from as many targets as possible. I know there's a curve first to my right to a certain extent, and I've also got to deal with this North Carolina now, so as a result, I've got to try and position myself in such a way that sees me taking as little fire as possible. I now know that the curve first has moved around the island on my right-hand side flank, which means that I can pretty much start backing up now to avoid taking hits from this North Carolina. It is going to be a little bit too late for me here now, though, because he's got shells off, and in all honesty, I'm going to get really, really lucky here. He missed the majority of his shots, and didn't manage to nail any citadels, despite, you know, he should have been able to in that case, but as a result, we got off extremely, extremely lucky. So, with that, I'm going to start backing up once again, dodging any torps that are coming in from enemy ships, and as a result, the Otago actually managed to make a breakaway as well, the cheeky little bastard. Doesn't matter though, we have managed to secure the majority of this sea point here, and we're actually going to set this North Carolina on fire here in just a moment. I'm thinking to myself, damn, I'm going to get the kill on this guy. It's going to be a second kill this early in the game with 59,000 damage on board. That would just be fantastic. Until old mate comes over here in the Megami and nicks my kill. The crafty bastard. But oh well, what can you do? Anyway, we've now pretty much got control of this seaside. The majority of enemy ships that were in this area, we took out one destroyer, one cruiser has been crippled to beyond belief, and the other battleship that was on this side has also been destroyed. We've only got to worry about this curve first now. So, I see the curve first is making a move on the right-hand side flank of the map, and it's time for me to get the hell out of dodge and start thinking about putting myself in a position of cover between me and this curve first. I don't want to give him an easy angle of attack, especially when I plan on broadsiding him a bit later on to engage him. So I need to find some cover, get an island between me and him. I also know now that I've been detected, and I haven't been detected from this curve first. He's not around the island yet, so I'm pretty sure it's coming from the B point. Thinking maybe, if I'm lucky, I'll be able to put my radar and get a spot on a destroyer that's sitting in there, but unfortunately we don't have the range on our side. Once again, I see that the curve first is now making a move for this little slip between the islands here of water, and I need to quickly get some cover before he finds the opportunity to engage me. And we turned at just the right time as well, because in just a second here, there they are, torpedoes coming in on that left-hand side flank from that B side. So there was a destroyer there. It confirmed my myth. It confirmed my suspicion. But we made a good choice to get out of there as soon as we could and dodge those torpedoes accordingly. I will say, guys, that something that I do want to emphasize here, and I don't have it equipped in this video because this is one of my first videos in the first games in the Salem, but having that steering gears mod 2 equipped on the Salem makes it fantastic for dodging in and out of torps, and also for dodging and angling enemy shells. Something I found really, really good in the Salem is, you know, as soon as a battleship takes a shot at you, nosing in really, really quickly, or at least trying to angle your arm as best you can, because it's really difficult to penetrate a Salem when they're angled, or a Des Moines even at best. So it's great to take the steering gears so you can basically shift quickly between giving a full broadside off and angling accordingly, so making the most of your armament when it's safest to do so. Anyway, we see that this curve first is now really in a bad position. He's sort of moving out into the open, but he is starting to aim at us, and as a result, I'm trying to turn in as fast as I can here. I know he's about to start getting shells off. I need to turn in as quickly as possible to avoid any unnecessary damage. I see some shells land from the curve first, and I think, oh, okay, cool. I'm good to go now, until I see this next salvo coming in, and I'm already slowly moving for a turn, or I was at some point. Managed to angle in appropriately then again, get another fire set on the curve first. That's going to be a nice deal of damage. But I make a bit of a whoopsie in just a second here. You know, he only fired off half his salvo there, so I'm thinking, yeah, cool, I can get my third gun in play now, get a little bit of extra damage. Oh no, here comes some shells, that's not good. Thankfully, dispersion saved my ass, and I was able to turn in once again, just in the nick of time. He was clearly aiming for a full broadside. This time, though, I made a bit of a doozy, broadsided out a little bit too early, copped 9,000 damage, but thankfully, the Salem does have access to Repair Party, which is going to be an absolute treat later on down the line. Accelerating about a minute or so further down the line into this game, I've got a feeling that the curve first was going to be heading to our spawn. Not exactly the case here. Managed to spot him out momentarily, and he actually is heading back towards the sea point here, trying to get some points from his team. As you can see, the current points situation for this game puts our team incredibly in the lead. We are absolutely dominating this enemy team right now. they're really not having a fun time. Sure, they've only got one ship down over us, but we've got a huge point lead due to those points contested, which is partly down to the role that we've been playing here on the C point, making sure that no one can get a free cap. So my plan here, and I'm going to pop radar here in just a second as well, because he's going to disappear out of my detection behind the island, and I'm not going to have a bar of that. In just a moment here, I'm going to try and get myself into a position where we can basically shoot over the mountain, but not reveal ourselves to this guy. And as a result, I've got a little bit of a terrain advantage here. I've popped my radar to get some nice early detection on, and here we go. Time for some fun times here. Fire a round off of HE to try and get some fire on board. Not going to happen, so I figured, you know what, stuff it. Let's fire some AP at this guy. Now, some will say I'm crazy, but 7k damage right there. The 203mm AP available to American cruisers within an 8km range is filthy against battleships, guys, even when they're broadsided. This sort of thing is absolutely incredible to go. It is absolutely incredible to use in this sort of situation. But I now know the Kerfist is gone out of detection. I can't detect him anymore. We've got no destroyers scouting on this side of the map. There's nothing much I can really do now besides back up, because the last thing I want to do is emerge around this island while he's got his full salvo loaded to go. Remember, he didn't fire at me for that entire time frame, so he's got a salvo good to go. Last thing I want to do right now is push around that island, give him a full broadside, and give him a way to just delete me straight off the map. Right now, I've got to play a bit more passively and play it to my terms. So we're going to back it up here, keep the nose bowed in. I'm okay to sacrifice one gun if it means I survive a little bit longer. As you can see, we've also got an ally pushing up behind us. It's a battleship. I'm not sure which battleship it was. In fact, it was the Yamato, I think that was. I think there was a Yamato on my screen there. I think it was. My view's a bit glitchy, guys. You'll have to apologize. You'll have to understand with that one there. Anyway, pushing up back here, trying to get a bit of distance so he's not in complete and utter deletion range, especially when I'm bowed in like so. I see I've been detected. There's a plane running up. There he is. I'll make Kerr first. I'm moving into position to get my third gun into action, but it turns out that I've actually made a good choice here because we've managed to bounce quite a few of those shells, and we've also managed to put a lot of the shells into the main battery at the back, which means that a lot of damage was mitigated as a result of that. So now I've got no reason to, you know, basically broadside out to make use of that third gun. I can now keep myself positioned like so to ensure I'm not going to take any unnecessary damage. And as a result, I can simply sit in here, shooting at this guy's superstructure, setting him on fire, all the bells and whistles, and minimizing as much damage as possible. As you can see, we took another hit to the main gun there, mitigating some of the damage that we would have taken. But once again, guys, this is just how powerful a cruiser can be when played correctly. Mind you, this guy isn't the best of shots, but because I'm bowed in like so, because he can't get that penetrating hit on me, I'm actually in an incredibly powerful position here. I can just keep firing away 203 HE shells, getting those hits on the superstructure, causing minimal damage, mind you, but because I'm firing so fast, I'm able to get a lot of damage out quickly. So what I make up for in damage per volley, I make up for in damage per minute, essentially, and this is going to help me in the long run. Hopefully setting a fire or two on the target as well to make sure that we get that long-standing burning damage to make sure he goes down. Anyway, there's that Yamato I was talking about earlier, coming in to assist me. I really do appreciate our teammates coming in and help me out accordingly. And once again, just making use of that cruiser angling. He can't get any sort of penetrating hits on me right now. I've got the advantage. I've got the angle. Setting a fire on him now as well. Once again, guys, just showing how powerful a cruiser can be when you angle accordingly. I'm getting a little bit bold now because he's fired off a salvo. I can now get my third gun into action, getting 3k damage salvos here. Gonna try and get him out of the game as quickly as possible. Try and get him out of the game before the game actually ends. He actually gets a really powerful salvo off of me then. I turned into a little bit too late, got a little bit too greedy, and as a result, risked getting deleted from the game straight away. But there we go, gonna get the game-winning kill there, and that is gonna wrap up this match in the... And guys, that right there basically concludes this gameplay of the Tier 10 United States Cruiser Salem. Guys, I really did enjoy doing this post-commentary video here on this gameplay, especially because it's a test ship. So if you guys would like to see more of this in the future, I am sort of working to improve my live commentary sort of stuff here. Let me know in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. The more feedback, the better, guys. I'm even considering doing a replay series where you guys can submit replay clips. I think Jingles used to do that a while ago, but I'm not entirely sure if he's still doing World of Warships content after that controversy with Wargaming EU, so I'll have to have a look at that. But no, maybe it's something we'll do in the future, maybe not. We'll see what happens, guys. Anyway, once again, if you enjoyed today's video, backhand the like button would be greatly appreciated. If you find yourself backhanding that like button and you're new to the channel, backhand the subscribe button whilst you're at it. And say you've got any tips and tricks, or say you've got any thoughts on the Salem, I should say. Let me know in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say as well. Once again, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Peace out, and I'll see you all guys all next time. Have a good one.